Well, good morning, everybody. Good afternoon. So many people's been asking me for a tour of the garden. I've really been putting it off because, just to be honest with you, I'm not really a big fan of that. I'm not very photogenic, but if I can be a blessing to somebody, I'm just going to do it. So I'm going to flip this camera around here, try to talk you through. I'm just doing this on my phone, going to upload it in a little bit. Like I said, hope it's a blessing to you. Okay, so here's a little box. We're going to start just some marigolds. They've done good. Used to have some lettuce in here. You can see that guy. We just left him. He's coming back. Not going to eat him, be real bitter. But the marigolds done real good. Don't really water this box a lot. They've done good drawing the pollinators in, and they're supposed to repel certain insects. They got an odor to them. You know they do. They don't stink to us, but they don't smell what you'd call lovely. They do a good job. And we'll go around here. This is the bed we've been, well, I have been waiting on celery. I'm really the only one in the house who really likes celery. Others will eat it, but I really do enjoy celery. And another little marigold in there. I'm still waiting on all of that stuff. So we'll walk around here, and you can see, you know, a lot of folks who've been asking me to make this video, really first-time gardeners, and we're really not that seasoned. We've been at it a few years. I guess this is our 5th or maybe 6th year growing, so we're learning as we go. We never really come from an agricultural background. I guess my wife had more experience with it than me. My grandpa was a farmer, but I never really picked up on none of that. Wasn't interested in it, and past 5 or 6 years we've really developed an interest in it. At least I have, really. And so we start over here. You see this flower. It's a nasturtium. Put them in there and had no idea they grew that big. Needs a little weeding in it. And right beside another marigold. Got lots of nasturtium, lots of marigolds, and a few calendulas, all for uses, not really for aesthetics. But this is our cow peas, the black-eyed peas, and you can see they're starting to come in. Let's see if I can zoom in. I'm not gonna, well, I guess I can walk in there. I'll walk in here, and you can see there's some still green and some are drying, and that's what you do. And honestly, this is the first year we really tried to grow more than a plant or two, and I thought they'd get bigger, but we learned you gotta cultivate the soil around them early on and keep them about every week or two. Take you a little gardening fork or something, and just so those roots get oxygen. And the minute we started doing that, they really grew, but they were done in the production of those pods. So I think that's why they didn't do so good. And this trellis setup here was for my wife's sugar snap peas and super sugar snap peas. And of course they've all died back. They don't like heat. This is our little patch of Pontiac Reds, and you can tell only half of that patch come up, and that was my mistake. Was so used to putting fertilizer in the hole, I didn't realize that it would probably rot them, and that's what it did. Learned that a little late in the game. So if you're going to plant some potatoes, don't put your seeds near fertilizer. It's a bad idea. So here we are, the first set of box gardens here. Sun's in here, so don't know how good it's going to be, but you can see we've mixed some tomatoes, which is in the nightshade family, with some peppers, which is also in the nightshade family, and they did really good. When you do this type of setup, they're a little closer than what the traditional gardens would do, but in a raised bed you've got the ability to take care of them a little better. But now you can see this guy right here, banana pepper plant, 2 of them right beside 2 really healthy ones, then another one that did the same thing, and then another bunch of good ones. What happened was we had some grubs get in there and eat the roots up, and I'm trying to see if I could save these, and it looks like they're coming back, but I don't know. We've had success doing that in the past, but as you can see by the size of my hand, these were very large before that, and really discouraging. But don't get discouraged, just keep at it. You can see here's some more real big banana peppers, and they're doing good. They're turning. Right there's a really good green one. Just keep at it. As far as the tomatoes go, right here, there's not many on these vines. They're about done, but these were what was called Cherokee purple tomatoes. They did really good as far as growing. First year we grew them. I'm not really a tomato eater. I like sauces and salsa and stuff like that. I'm not really a fan of eating tomatoes. But my wife said they weren't as good as the regular ones. And if you go up here and you can see, I mean, these are 2 feet, 3 feet taller than I am. I mean, and we've been pruning them back so they grow. But if you notice real quick, let's see if I can, you can look in there, there's cucumbers that have come from all the way over here. In this box we planted some lemon cucumbers on this side, and on the other side we planted some Boston pickling cukes and some carrots. And honestly, I've struggled to grow carrots. Put the right soil in there as far as what I think, but I've never really got it right. Keep them watered plenty, and the soil's supposed to do its thing, but I've never had success. Gonna try something different this year. But if you look, the spotted mildew, which treated it, we got the lemon cukes here. Squash bugs moved in, and you can tell these vines are starting to die back, and it's just that time. They've been here all season, so I'm not really going to do a whole lot to them. We'll keep them at bay, but more carrots, marigold. These here on this side were what was supposed to be a rainbow variety. The other side were what was called short and sweet. Come over here, we get into the bell pepper plants, and they've done good. But as you know, if you've grown bell peppers, they don't really produce a lot of peppers. These have done as good as you can expect, and we're still waiting. We like to wait for them to turn red. They just are real sweet. But our cherry tomatoes are doing good, and honestly, this was just some generic variety, but you can see they're doing really good. And if you haven't pruned here lately, hadn't tied none back, but we've got plenty of fruit on these still. They're still producing good, still healthy plants. A little box of flowers we had, and the sat trim, marigold, and there's that calendula. He looks real sickly now. They don't like the heat. But here's just a box that we had. I was going to just use for some special variety peppers. We don't normally grow. Like this big tall one is a poblano, and plenty of peppers on that plant. And we wound up throwing in the overflow of our other peppers too. But if you look right here, this is one of those special varieties. It's called a Tangerine Dream. We grew a similar variety called a Lemon Dream, which is right here. We've already harvested all the yellow ones that come off the Lemon Dream. That's the color you'd expect, and they were really good. Tastes like a banana pepper, but have a very sugary, very sweet taste after you start chewing it up. And if you look down in here, just some extra habaneros, plenty of those. What surprised me was we had some Tabasco plants. That's what these little ones are right down in here, and they never did do good. We bought them from a nursery. Don't know what was the matter with them, but what I found this morning was, if I can find it now, there was some little fruits coming on them, little peppers, and I don't really know. Oh, there they are. So that was nice, but I don't know what they'll do, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting them to do a whole lot. See, right there's one. So we'll see. But lots of habaneros, a few more banana peppers, a few cayennes over here, and most of these are green because I've done picked off most of the red ones, but there's some red ones in there. Over here, sorry, real quick moving, should have went slower, but this is another bed, and all the tomatoes in this bed, and if I can get back, you can see they're same deal. They're 7-8 foot tall, even though they've been pruned, topped, and tied up. This was our Martian Giant, and I'll be honest with you, they produced lots and lots of tomatoes, far more than I thought an heirloom variety would do. Done real good through the heat. Haven't really been that susceptible to a lot of disease, but we did the same thing, peppers and tomatoes planted together. So far we've had a good variety, good amount of peppers. You can see them are still producing real good, and I'll go on the other side and I'll show you. You can see these tomatoes, still plenty of tomatoes on these vines. Even though with the heat they've stopped production, but they've were able to put on lots of fruit before it got real hot. And that's something, if you've never grown a lot of tomatoes, once it gets about 90 degrees or above, you're going to struggle. These plants, they'll stop producing blooms. The blooms they have will start dropping off, and they'll even start dropping fruit if it gets really hot. So keep them watered, feed them every 7-14 days with a good liquid fertilizer. These were our jalapenos, and for the life of me, I don't know. I have to look at the seed packet what variety these are, but honestly, I wasn't that impressed with them. They didn't get really large. I mean, here's one right here. That's about as big as it got, and just put my finger there to show you. They never really got big. I'd say 2 inches maybe. The biggest one I think we've had was maybe 3 inches. They tasted good. And you can see there, if I can get you in there, another red one. But they did okay. I wasn't impressed, but the ones that really took the show this year were these habanero plants. Unbelievable just how many habaneros these little bushes have put on. Just incredible. I don't know what I'm going to do with this many habaneros. But again, there's the Martian Giants. Can't recommend them enough. I don't know if they'll work for you, but just with a little bit of care, they did good. So now we'll take a little walk here. I'll get out of the raised bed area. We'll go into, oh, there's funny. There's some volunteer corn from last year. Just happened to be in the same bed. Haven't done nothing with it. Just left it there as a novelty. But little box we started for the grandbabies. We all like strawberries, but I thought it would be really nice to have a little strawberry patch for the grandbabies, because I enjoy them coming out here with me. And here's the first. These were store-bought strawberries. Didn't have a name. They were just called Everbearing. Can't remember the seed supplier, the plant supplier. We bought them at Rural King, but we put them in what's called a wicking bucket and a wicking tub. It's done really good. It's got some milk jugs in the bottom with holes in it, and that pipe right there goes into one of the milk jugs. Holds about 5 gallons of water. Does really good. Don't have to water them much at all. Got some fall beans here, Triumph de Farci. They're like a really long skinny green bean that you slice up, kind of like them fancy style that you get out of a can. And those on the left, well, I'll just show you in case this flips. Right there, those right there are a golden wax bean. It's supposed to be a buttery tasting bean. You eat them pod and all. Some New Hanover and some Columbus blueberries. They're done. The Columbus might put on some more, but we're really happy. This is the first year with them, and you can see lots of new growth coming up. Just put them in the ground, made sure that there was some sulfur to keep the pH right, and started fertilizing. They did good. Little old patch here. Don't know what I'm going to do for the fall. We'll put something here. And here's our green beans, and they're doing good. This right here is probably a couple of days left, and then we'll be able to get another good harvest. But these always do good. These are the Blue Lake variety pole beans. They always do really good. They produce lots and lots of beans, and you can't really go wrong. I mean, you got about $6 in seeds, and you can get an enormous amount of food. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Blue Lakes. Not in my opinion. Some people don't like them. We used to grow Kentucky Wonders too. They're a little starchier bean. I know a lot of people grow the half runners, and there's nothing wrong with that. Get lots of beans off of them too. But here's our corn. It's kind of hard with the sun doing its thing, but this is only about 6 or 7 days old. All the corn seemed to do really good germinating. Got the seed from southern states. It's called Honey Select. Should have plenty of time to harvest still here in the fall, but never done it before. What you do is you look at your seed, and you see what type of weather it needs as far as heat and shade and water and all that stuff, and you look at the days to maturity or days to harvest, and you look at your last expected frost date, your last average frost date, and you just plant accordingly. And according to those figures, we should have time, but I've never done this before, so I've got $5 or $6 in the ground. So I think me and Benjamin spent an hour out here getting them ready. Well, a couple hours if you count the first time we came and tilled it up, put a tarp over it to kill most of the weeds off. Left it there about 3 weeks. Should have left it there another 3 weeks, but didn't have time to do that. So hopefully we'll have some fall corn. And then this is our Kennebecs, and same deal. I suffered from the same mistake. Only half of them come up, but these are about ready to harvest. Once the tops fall down, you wait you a couple weeks and they'll be ready to harvest. Same deal though, I put the fertilizer in the ground like a dummy. Put it too close to those potatoes and they probably rotted, but it's okay. That's how we learn. And the only real reason I'm making this, other than so many people have asked me to make this, is because I wanted to let a lot of people know that anybody can grow a garden. I'm going to try to get out of the sun here. But you're going to make mistakes. You're going to learn. It's going to take your time. That it will. But it's worth it. It's not just, it's not an unfruitful venture. You're going to make mistakes, but when you start getting your harvest, you're going to be really happy. You shouldn't have over expectations, but like a lot of people learn, you plant a tomato plant or 2 or 3 and you've never grown potatoes, what you're going to find out is that you better have a plan, because you're not going to be able to eat them all on tomato sandwiches or putting them in a salad. You're going to have to learn to do something with them. And for me, I love salsa. We make lots of good salsa. Debbie does. I just eat it. Love tomato sauces, just really, really good. So it's like with all the peppers, there's no way in the world you're going to eat all these peppers. So you got to learn to pickle them. And one thing Debbie did for me this year, we experimented with the jalapenos, and she pickled some with the same brine that she does with our sweet pickles, and boy was that good. Never expected it to be that good. Really, really good. Green beans, of course, we eat a fair amount of them fresh. Put them in the refrigerator for a day or two. Eat them as we can, or as we like to. And she cans quite a bit of those. So that was the tour. I hope it was a blessing to you. Like I said, I put this off longer than I should have. I know many people have asked me to do this. I'm just not that type of guy. I don't think I know enough to be too big of a help to people. But so many people just today have called me and asked me questions and thanked me. And I figured I'd go ahead and do this. So I hope it was a blessing. I hope the Lord blesses you. I hope all the success in the world with your garden. And we sure do love you and appreciate you. And if there's anything we can do, I hope and pray that we're a blessing in that regard as well. Have a good day.